Hi everyone, welcome to the class. In the previous class, we were discussing with matter and its classification. We have seen what is a matter and how on the physical state and on the chemical classification view, so it is classified. So just to recall, so based on the physical state, so matter is classified into solids, liquids and gases, whereas on the chemical classification, so matter is classified into mixtures and pure substances. So mixtures may be homogeneous mixtures or heterogeneous mixtures, whereas the pure substances, it is elements and compounds. In homogeneous mixtures, the composition is uniform, whereas in the heterogeneous mixture, the components are not uniformly mixed. So elements, we know that it consists of atoms of only one type. So it may have homoatomic molecules in it, whereas compounds are those in which atoms of different elements combine. So all these with simple examples we learned in the last class. Now, so we'll try to extend the concept. Just you can recall the branch chemistry, which deals with the study of composition, structure, and properties of matter. With respect to composition, it is what the concept of atom, element, molecule, compound, what we need to learn. That we have understood with the matter and its classification. About the structure of atom in detail, we learn in the second unit. So with its subatomic particles given importance. Now, we'll try to focus in the first unit syllabus as a continuation. They have given properties. So what are the properties? So how it is classified, everything we'll try to learn. So welcome to the class 3. Now, if we observe the properties of matter and how it is measured, so we'll try to mainly focus on these topics in the present class. Now, whatever the types of matter, if you take solid, liquid, or gas as a chemical substance, so their properties can be classified into two types. They are physical properties and chemical properties. That means every substance has unique or characteristic properties. Such properties are measured on two important bases. They are physical properties and chemical properties. Now, what are these physical properties and what are chemical properties? How it is measured and all, we'll try to focus. As the name indicates, the physical properties are those without changing in the composition of matter, we are going to measure such properties. Whereas chemical properties are those which requires a chemical change to understand such properties. We'll learn with basic simple examples, will be easier to understand. So it is physical properties and chemical properties are the two types of properties of any state of matter if we take. We'll understand the first one. It is physical properties. As I said, physical properties are those properties which can be measured or observed without changing the identity or the composition of the substance. That means without changing the property of that particular matter in the form of its composition or in its identity. So if the measured property, so then it is considered as physical properties. That means the measurement of physical property does not require to change either in the identity or in the composition of that substance. So examples will be more better to understand it. Now, some of the physical property, color. Now, color, just by observing the respective substance, you can able to indicate. So such color is not required to change the identity of a substance or composition of a substance. Hence, color can be easily understood without changing in its composition, can be taken as an example of physical property. Then next, odor, about the smell of the substance. Again, so when we observe the smell of a substance, a characteristic odor of a respective substance, so again, we are not going to change its composition or its identity. Hence, again, smell or odor can be regarded as a physical property because its measurement does not involve the change in the identity or the composition of the substance. Then, melting point. So we know that the temperature at which the solid will melt into a liquid, so it's considered as its melting point. For example, if you take the solid ice, so solid ice, if you maintain at room temperature, so it will gradually melt to a liquid water. Now, either in solid water or in liquid water, the composition of water is not going to change. So it is H2O only. So hence, the molecules present in that will retain its identity as well as its composition. So hence, the measurement of that again is considered as a physical property. Similarly, boiling point. If you maintain the liquid water from room temperature, keep on increasing the temperature by heating the substance. Near to 100 degrees Celsius, water will start boiling. So that particular temperature is called as boiling point of water. Just as an example, I'm explaining. So boiling concept is very important to understand that we learn in detail in states of matter. The temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure, then the liquid will boil. The temperature where vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure is called as its boiling point. Again, such measurement is not dependent or will not change the identity or the composition of the substance. Hence, it is a physical property. The density. Density is defined as the ratio of mass by volume. Again, whatever the density measurement is there, so again, it will not involve the changing in identity or the composition of substance. Hence, again, it is considered as physical property. Like this, we can take many properties so which are measured. So without changing the identity or the composition of a substance are all regarded as physical properties. Now we'll move on to the second one. It is chemical properties. Now, whatever the measurement or observation of chemical properties requires a chemical change to occur, or the properties which are measured so by a chemical change are called as chemical properties. So these measurements requires a chemical change. Without a chemical change, you cannot able to understand such properties. So such all properties are regarded as chemical properties. So examples will be more better to understand. So they include acidity or basicity or combustibility. So acidity, to give the example. So acidity is defined as the strength of a base. Basicity is used to determine the strength of the acid. Now, for example, we'll take now sodium hydroxide if I take as a compound. So I cannot know whether it is a base or an acid. Suppose if I treat this with an acid HCl, it dissociates producing OH minus ion. That OH minus ion combines with H plus and will be removed as water molecule. Whereas the remaining Na plus from the NaOH and Cl minus from HCl will form the salt NaCl. This is a simple acid base reaction, but to observe that NaOH is a base, so the acidity is the term which is used. So acidity is defined as number of replaceable hydroxyl ions present in the base. Now NaOH can dissociate producing one OH minus ion, hence the acidity of NaOH is 1. Now this we have understood. So not by simple observing the compound or without changing its identity. This identity is changed to sodium salt by treating with an acid. Hence, so such particular change can be regarded as a chemical property. Similarly, we'll take the same example in a different way. Now we are learning for HCl. I am treating with a base NaOH. Now this is what an acid I am measuring. Now the ability of an acid is identified by donating its H plus ion from one of the theory. So here H plus ion will combine with OH minus. Again, it will be removed as water. So in the previous case, OH minus ion is given significance. Here it is H plus ion. So hence the acid here is producing one H plus ion, which is indicated as its basicity. Basicity of the acid is 1. So again, the product formed is NaCl salt. Here, to know that HCl is an acid, we are treating with a base. During its process, its identity is changed and it is dissociating, producing one H plus ion, as the basicity of the compound is 1. As a result, salt is formed. So like this, we can able to know the property. So only by a chemical change, the property is measured. Similarly, combustibility. So we know that a combustion reaction, for example, if I take a methane gas, a simple hydrocarbon, if it is heated with oxygen, so carbon combines with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and hydrogen combines with oxygen to form water based on the stoichiometric value. So 4 hydrogen to valence will take 2 H2O. Then, so carbon is balanced. Now you look for the other element oxygen. 2 oxygen here, 2 oxygen. So total it requires 2 moles of oxygen to combine. Since the balanced equation of combustion explains, by treating methane with oxygen gas, it is undergoing combustion to give carbon dioxide and water as product. Now only by observing this carbon dioxide and water formation by treating with oxygen, it is understood that it is undergoing combustion. So without heating with oxygen, we cannot able to know that methane is a combustible gas. So like this, the properties of the compounds are measured in different ways. So if the property requires a chemical change, then such measured property is called as chemical property. Now, after knowing what are physical properties and chemical properties, it is required us to measure such properties. So we have different types of measurements. So the approved one and what we are following at present is a standard international standard unit system, SI unit system, that will try to observe in detail. The international system of units. So the international system of units, so which is derived from the French, so it is Lie Système International des Unités, abbreviated as SI. Système International or International System of Units. So which was established by the 11th General Conference on Weights and Measurements, so CGPM, from Conference General des Poids et Mesures, which is a French word. So from the respective international system of units, so we have 7 fundamental units, so which are considered as base units or 7 fundamental quantities. By using that, so many derived units are measured. So all these together we are using, so from the SI unit system, so to express whether a physical property or a chemical property measure. So that is given in this point. The SI system has 7 base units. So it has 7 base units, which are considered as 7 fundamental quantities, referred to as 7 fundamental scientific quantities. Now we'll try to learn what are those 7 fundamental quantities and what is the name of that SI unit and what is the symbol used. We'll try to focus. Hope everyone knows this except few. That means except few SI units. So majority of the remaining you know that. So it is a very important 1 mark question topic. So try to focus. So whatever the other physical quantities are there, such as speed, volume, density, etc., can be derived from these 7 fundamental quantities. First, we'll try to observe the 7 fundamental quantities. So the first one, it is the length. The quantity is length. The symbol used is L. So name of the SI unit. Now length is measured in SI unit system meter. Meter is taken as the SI unit for length. So if it is more in value, then we are going to use prefixes. Similarly, if it is very less value, then to indicate that, so prefixes are used for meter. So that list of prefixes we'll try to learn in the next topic. For all these SI units, 7 units, the value is very high or very less. To this SI unit, we are going to use the prefix. Such prefixes we'll try to learn in the next considered topic. Now length is measured in meters. So SI unit symbol for meter is M. So these two is what you need to follow very clearly. So they will ask any one SI unit, what is the respective SI unit of the physical quantity and what is the unit for it. Symbol for the unit, name for the unit. So SI unit for length is meter and its unit is given in small letter M. Next, second one, mass. So mass is given by the symbol small letter M. So these symbols are optional. This is just to indicate the physical quantity. So the SI unit for mass is measured in kg, kilogram, and its SI unit symbol is kg, small letter K and G. And the third, time. So time is given with the symbol T. Its SI unit is second and SI unit symbol is small letter S. Next, fourth one, electric current. So symbol for the physical quantity is capital I. SI unit is ampere and SI unit symbol is capital A. So electric current, it is ampere. Then the fifth one, thermodynamic temperature. So temperature is given by the physical quantity symbol capital T. So its SI unit is Kelvin and SI unit symbol is capital K. Then the amount of substance, so which is given in small letter N. So it is measured in SI unit of mole and its SI unit symbol is MOL. And the last one, so it is luminous intensity, so which is given by IV. So SI unit is candela and its SI unit symbol is CD. So length meter, mass kg, time second, electric current ampere, thermodynamic temperature Kelvin, amount of substance mole, luminous intensity candela. So with its SI unit symbol, try to practice all the 7 fundamental quantities, which are very, very important. So if you know this, then only the unit conversions are important for you to learn. Numerical problems to solve and everything related to the physical quantities. So it is the basis. Try to remember this. So in the present class, we'll try to continue the prefixes and few simple concepts. So derived quantities in detail we'll learn in the next class. Now, so there are few prefixes which are used along with the 7 quantities it is mentioned here. So you need to practice this. So go in this order. So 10 to the power of -1, 10 to the power of -2, 10 to the power of -3. So till here you increase one number, so with negative sign. So -1, -2, -3. Then you increase three numbers. -6, -3, -3, -6. Then -6, -3, -9. Like that, three numbers you try to increase. So 12, then 15, then 18, then 21, then 24. So at least you can remember till -18. If you can remember all the 10 of fractions it is. So 10 to the power of -1 is, we know that it is 0.1. So like that. So whatever the value is there, the fractional value along with the respective SI unit. So we can use, instead of these particular fractions, so this can be replaced by these prefixes. Now that we need to remember. Now, for example, if it is 1 meter, so 1 meter can be considered as 100 centimeter. So there, so what is that 101 difference, and also you can learn from the prefixes. That we'll try to solve with few simple numericals. So there it is very clear for you to understand. Now just to follow here to remember the prefix used for the respective multiple. Now for 10 to the power of minus 1, it is deci. 10 to the power of minus 2, centi. 10 to the power of minus 3, milli. Deci, centi, milli. Then for minus 6, micro. Minus 9, nano. Minus 12, pico, which is as many a times. Then minus 15, femto. Minus 18, atto. 10 to the power of minus 21, zepto. 10 to the power of minus 24, yocto. Deci, centi, milli, micro, nano, pico, femto, atto, zepto, yocto. So few names seems to be new for you. So try to remember this, so which is very helpful for solving the numericals without the help of calculator. To learn along with these prefixes, if you learn scientific notation and significant figures concept, so maximum problems without calculator you can use. To remember this, so first practice the numbers. Minus 1, 2, 3, increase 1, 1 number till 3. Then increase 3, 3 numbers, minus 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Then you practice this order. Deci, centi, milli, micro, nano, pico, femto, atto, zepto, yocto. Similarly, for the same numbers with positive sign, the other prefixes are used that we'll try to observe. It is 10 to the power of plus 1, 2, 3. Till 1, 2, 3, you consider 1, 1 number. Then after that, so 3, 3 numbers, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So here with negative sign will be a fraction. So positive sign can be considered as a multiple. Now for 10 to the power of 1, deca, 10 to the power of 2, hecto, 10 to the power of 3, kilo, 10 to the power of 6, mega, 10 to the power of 9, giga, 10 to the power of 12, tetra, 10 to the power of 15, peta, 10 to the power of 18, exa, 10 to the power of 21, zeta, 10 to the power of 24, iota. This you need to practice it. So deca, hecto, kilo, mega, giga, tetra, peta, exa, zeta, iota. So that you can practice. Symbols are optional. So if you want, you can extend the information to remember that. So for the negative sign, so whatever the first letter is there, so you are having that. So with small letters, except this micro where mu symbol is used, a Greek letter. Apart from that, remaining all are the first letter in the prefix name. Whereas here, so almost the first letter only, but few, so wherever the prefix used already in the fractions, so that will be used in capital letters here. Now deca, DA, for only this you have two letter symbol. Then hecto, H, kilo, K, mega, so already M is used as micro or milli, so hence this is used in capital letters. Giga, already G is used, so G is not mentioned here. So from here you can remember from mega onwards, all in capital letters you remember. Giga, tetra, peta, exa, zeta, iota. So this you can easily remember. First you practice the numbers 1, 2, 3 followed by 3, 3, 3 addition, either in negative numbers or in positive numbers. Then practice their prefixes. Then remember their first letters to write the symbol. Generally all we will not use, only few will be used in the numericals, but this is very important for competitive exams as well as for 1 mark questions in the board exam. So try to practice this very clearly. So with this basic information, so we'll try to stop for today's class. So remaining we have few derived units and all, so that we'll try to continue in our coming classes. So thank you. So we'll continue.